We have a little story here. Bob lives in this county, Montana, but Bob went on vacation. He liked California so much, he's kind of stuck out there hanging out, and his buddies in New York wondered if they could stay in his cabin while he's not there. These Brooklyn hipster designers wanted to get away from technology, so they were specifically looking for a place that had no internet, no Bluetooth, no anything. They wanted to get out in the woods. The problem is, all of the remote door control solutions for homes right now require internet authorization. So when the person comes up to the door, it goes and asks the database if they're supposed to let these Brooklyn people into the house. But what if you have no internet? What if you have no Bluetooth? We wanted to do something that was entirely NFC and required none of these other mediums at the location. So Bob has this device installed on his house, and he's like, oh, I'm out in California. And they're like, oh no, we can't go to your house. And he's like, no, it's cool, I got this thing, I'll send you a text. So he just texts their number and the dates that they're supposed to be able to be there to a short code. He hits our servers, and our servers take an NFC key code and then also take the permissions for access and then encrypt it and shoot them a text message. When they click their text, so on this side, all they hear is, oh, I'll send you a text. They receive a text, click the link, pops open an app, and now they have their key and everything to get in place. They can then take that mobile phone, they can code more tags if they have more than one person going home. So now he's going to demonstrate the mobile app part of it to unlock.
So what we're promising is that you can set up a lock where you don't know how many people who is going to come to it later. You can set a privilege. The privilege is, for example, you allow them to be there November 10th to 15th. You allow them to open the door 3 times. And you do not have to know this ahead of time. You can just do it. What you need to do is give them either NFC tag, or they can use their smartphone and program them themselves, or just use their smartphone. But when they need to open the door, they do not need to have internet access. They don't even need to have a smartphone if they're able to get one of these tags.
Do you want to show the app on there?
Yeah. So how do we do it? The way we do it is the key, the lock itself has a private key, and it generates a list of credentials. So your phone has a public key, and also has a list of credentials. When someone needs access to the lock, you take the credential, attach the privilege to it, encrypt it using the public key, and then you send this NFC message into one of these. When you show up at the lock will verify that will decrypt the message and make sure the credential is one of the credentials in the lock. If it matches, then it will execute the privilege. And the privilege can be anything you want. You can set it after you leave your home. And the credential, once you use up a credential, you wouldn't use it again. So you can create a list of credentials. You can make 20, 30, 50, however long you think you're going to be away, and how many people you think how many people you think will come and visit you in that time. So we're showing you a little bit of demo. We don't actually have a lock.
And one of the things we're looking at is there can be many lock providers who create different locks that can interface with this. But when they build the lock, they can kind of assume that we take care of the rest of the system to make sure that the permissions and the NFC are all encrypted and all of that. So if somebody wants to do a lock company, they don't have to figure out the entire supply chain. They can just plug into an API with us. And likewise, AirBnB or some marketplace could also tie into the API and instantly execute these passing of the keys. So if a booking is done, it can automatically pass it to us.
So you can use this at a place where the internet is not available, such as a car, bike, or
yeah, we can also go beyond how it could be bike.
So okay, so pretend this is my home.
You can use this where there's internet not available, but it requires texting.
So the thing is, at the point that you get the permission, you're going to be on some sort of marketplace trying to acquire an object from someone else. You're going to have to call your friend Bob or whatever. So at that point in time, you will have a cellular connection. At that time is when you're going to get the permission. But then you can take the permission with you offline and then get into the lock. So what's happening is normally you couldn't control anything with permissions. Once a person was in, it had to limit it. But now you can send the permission with the key encryption.
So for example, if you want to run out your place in California, you're in New York, what you can do is if they don't have a phone with NFC capability, you can actually just create one of these things, mail it to them. They will be able to take it, open the door, and they will be able to execute only the permission, which is, so you will let them stay on the weekend. They'll only be able to open the door through that.
Or they can find one locally in the area, and like whoever has it, since it'll be so ubiquitous.
But all that information is already predefined in the lock by the manufacturer of the lock.
No, the information is in the NFC code.
No, but there's matching information in the lock. There'd be like 1,000 codes or something.
The credentials will be in the lock. And it's not manufacturer defined. The way we can set it is that you have privileges. You can create more credentials. So some of the privileges, so most people's privilege, when you give it to a stranger, you just give them the privilege to open door for a certain period of time. But you can also say the privilege for this phone or this tag is to create more credentials, right? So for example,
Bob has a master key, and he can add more. If he runs out of 1,000, and throw another 1,000 in the lock. He can change anything he wants about that.
So there has to be some logic on the lock side that's
right. So
yes.
so we will probably have a login for a $25 Raspberry Pi, and that will be with an NFC reader, and that will be enough to be able to run.
So that's one advantage of the competitors with wireless, tying into either a cellular network or into the house Wi-Fi or whatever it is. They have a lot more pieces in it, so like $150. We could build this for maybe $40. So that's their price.
Okay, so let's see if this opens. Opens.
And then there's a
It'll lock
timer.
5 seconds later. No.
But that could be 5 days, 5 months, whatever.
What's the other tag?
Oh,
So now this tag, I only allow it to open twice. So let's try that. Opens once. Wait for it to lock. Opens again. It locks by itself. And I try to open again.
So there can be frequency limitations, time limitations.
I want to do a time limitation. It's a little bit difficult to do it during demo. We don't know when we're going to go down. So what we can see is a frequency limitation.
What do you guys think? Any questions?
And one of the things that we like about this solution is that it is a purely NFC solution. It can only happen with NFC. You can't use a QR tag, show up at the door and show you QR tag. It might be dark and you can't get in. If the electricity is out in the house or internet is house, you can't get in.
You can have a battery in the lock that lasts quite a while, so just open the spring, it doesn't take much time.
Or we can have a crank outside the house, power up to allow for you to open.
Have a reindeer making biofuels in the area.